lonely.
Hello?
So he found this cam girl and kind of got obsessed with her. No, but he didn't kill or anything. That would have been crazy, though. But he basically, like, stole a lot of money from his family just to talk to her and stuff. Because, like, the cam girls charge you to talk to them. And
Right, of course.
that it led him to, like, being so obsessed where, like, when the family confronted him, he killed his parents and his brother.
Oh, damn.
I know. And it's so sad because his brother, like, always, like, tried to defend him and even tried to pay back the family for, like, what he has stolen. And then he just ended up killing him and blaming him and saying that, like, it was probably, like, a suicide murder or some shit.
From thinking about it, you know what? If he's in medical school, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's so focused on that pathway, maybe he needed... Because everybody needs, like, romantic attraction or, you know, that kind of relationship.
Yeah.
And maybe he lacked it. And so when he found an outlet to express that, his sexuality, and then started to ingrain exactly by maybe, like, the physical archetype of him seeing this weird parasocial relationship. I just found out what parasocial means. It's like the kind of relationships that you establish on YouTube, like when you watch somebody and you're a subscriber, and then you started to obsess about them and created these toxic behaviors.
That's so weird.
And it just his flaws of his character just were exploited. Like, I think why he killed his family, because maybe he was conditioned to, with the social roles of following, you know, the family pressure to fit a mold. And when he, you know, double-crossed his family, did something he felt ashamed about, he didn't want to confront it and embrace the shame and the guilt. And rather, he decided to kill his family rather than feel all that shame.
Yeah, I feel like he also did it out of embarrassment, too, because the family contacted her and told her the whole story about him and that, like, he had no job, because he was lying to her and, like, basically pulling a front saying, oh, like, I'm this rich guy, I'm a doctor, blah, 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 but he really just lost his job and didn't really have a car or anything.
Right, so like, then it became about his self-esteem being completely on this girl.
Yeah.
One of those odd, rare cases when it was, like, normal in the beginning, but then it became, like, a toxic fixation at the end.
I think, and I think this happened recently too. Like, it didn't happen that long ago. Within this decade or last decade.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised that it's happening right now as we speak. Those Twitch lives and the cam girls and all that stuff and that culture, that community, shit.
That's crazy.
Next thing you know, you're gonna be like, I want to be the next cam girl.
Oh, no. Well, I mean, you're getting paid for it, but I feel like it's so awkward. You're just, like, looking at a camera and doing it. And then, like, it's like how you interact on Yubo Lives. Like, you're like, talking to comments. But in that situation, you're, like, doing some sexual shit to the comments, you know?
Right,
it's
right.
Weird.
You know what? I watched a really good documentary on... Oh my god, you know what? I'm going to send you the link right now on it and you can watch it on your free time. But talking about that and the relationships and those dynamic and parasocial relationships and with live streaming, like Yubo, there's this really good mini documentary I watched about it. This guy made, and he explained it so well. And I'm just going to send you the link so you can watch it on your own time. But to summarize, it's basically what we're just talking about. The problems of the relationship dynamic with live streaming and the relationship the audience has to the guy or the girl and being obsessive about it. Like, that they become, that's their self-esteem needs.
That's how I feel about, what's it called, Korean K-pop stans.
Oh,
they get kind of obsessive to the point where, like, they do, like, death threats and shit. It's kind of crazy.
Oh, so they're toxic like the beauty community?
Dude, they're all toxic.
It seems like, how would you compare yourself to the rest of it? Because it seems like you're You got a good head on your shoulders, so you ain't crazy, crazy, but just a little bit, you know?
Because the whole thing just seems so like idealistic. Like this is reality. Like, why are you like obsessing someone over you don't even know personally, and like you're obsessing over a persona they want to display and they choose to display on social media. Like they can be like this good looking like good person that donates to charity or some shit on YouTube, but they could be like a psycho or serial killer in real life, you know. And like the fact that they're just obsessing over this persona that like whoever they stand on social media, like it's just weird. I don't find it realistic at all.
Yo, for real. You know what was creepy just talking about that? For some reason,
What?
I went on. Okay, today I woke up around 4. I was really late because, you know, we were on till like 5 in the morning. And
Mhm.
my YouTube, where I can remember consciously what I went on YouTube, I was watching some news and then it went into somehow looking at that whole weird James Charles and the Hype House and Charlie Dixon, all those people.
Mhm.
And what I was just curious, you know, because I want to be in the loop of the culture of YouTube to know what's popular and what's going on with Gen Z and why these people are popular. And then I watched one of James Charles' videos, and I watched the one when it's called Makeup Relay Race featuring Sway House. Like, who the fuck is Sway House? And when I watched the first minute, no, yeah, tops minute and 30 seconds, I felt really, really uncomfortable of how this boy group, internet, e-boy, pop little internet social media group interacted. I felt like I was watching Minions, and the way their personas were presented. I mean, they were good
Yeah.
on the way they interacted with each other and making rapport, but it felt like an act. It wasn't authentic, and it made me feel really uncomfortable.
Exactly.
And then it just made me feel like, you know what popped into my head when we were talking about it the other day, or like when I was
What?
judging everybody's personalities. I was thinking like
Yeah.
Anthony could be one of these kind of dudes.
I low key feel like he is. I'm not gonna lie.
And so I was just thinking like, what is this doing to the culture and children that are wanting to make these people their idols and their
Yes.
behaviors, and think about it, these kids are learning how to be narcissists.
And like it's sad because like I have TikTok, right, and I would see like famous people like that, like the Hype House or whatever, like they would get exposed for like being racist or like exposed for like something really serious, and like little kids, like their fans would like be so quick to defend them, you know?
Oh yeah, because they're
It's
children, they
like
don't know
shit.
any, they don't know practical
Yeah,
judgment.
exactly. And it's like you're influencing these kids to like normalize that type of behavior.
Yeah, and you know what's so interesting, when I made the comparison, when right now, like I just clicked on the David Dobrik and Vlog Squad, at least I see the complete difference. That yes, they have personas, but they're being genuine and they actually have rapport
Yeah.
with each other, and they care about each other's well-being. They have healthy relationships. When I see the boy band, I'm thinking like, okay, it's a social hierarchy, and they're all keeping each other in check and wanting to be
Yeah.
socially validated. This is like a little clout, little chase. I don't
That's so
know.
sad.
I know I love talking about it, but it's just when sometimes on YouTube when I just click on random parts or things that I'm not interested, I get into
Mhm.
this psychological like case study mindset that you do with your stuff. I'm like, who are these people? What are they about? What are their motivations? Why are they
Yeah.
on? Am I the only one that does that, or you do that too sometimes when you encounter like new YouTube channels or stuff?
Yeah.
Okay,
I
good.
mean, like, I just look at it and I'm like, I can't even, like, watch the whole video because, like, I get irritated and, like, I start thinking, like, politically. I'm like, damn, like, these people are influencing, like, our generation and, like, once, like, the old people die and shit, this is what we're really gonna have to live with.
I think yes and no to that question. That yes, I agree. Right now, they're being exposed and bringing those kind of toxic behaviors, but in time, the ones hopefully they will change, and the ones that disagree with their movement, there'll always be people that disagree like you and I about how their behaviors are, and they'll change, and I
Mm-hmm.
hope to change because I'd rather
Yeah.
have them be productive members of society than become a Kardashian family.
Yeah. I feel like some of them will.
So I have faith in them. Just right now they're in that phase with, yeah, I'm a young guy. Like, dude, I get all the attention with all the girls on social media,
Jake
TikTok.
Paul and Logan
Haha.
Paul, like they're so old and like the way they act is not their age.
I think the older brother, yeah. The younger one, no. But
Mm,
the reason why I say that is because, I always find people that are toxic like that, or that have been an innovator in an industry fascinating as like a case study. So what I decided to do you know the comedian from England called what's his name? He married Katy Perry. Let me look at his name.
he married Katy Perry,
Yeah, back in the day, he was an
like
English
James
comedian.
Franco or something.
No, let me remember. His Russell Brand.
Oh yeah,
So
him.
Russell Brand, if you watch his content, he's very introspective, very wise, and almost like this guru, but not in the sense where it's cult like, very rational. And I've listened to his podcast here and there sometimes. I don't listen to too much of his content because the desire's not there. But he talked to Logan Paul, and when I was listening to the discussion with Logan Paul, what I got out of it was he was just a human being with his family unit. A lot of the toxic behaviors, if you watch the Shane Dawson documentary, and his behaviors between the competition between his brother and him, and the toxic, or not the toxic, the flaws of the how they grew up in their household, that was just um, that it just being having so much presence in the moment he was in, when he was highlighted, and he forgot about his own accountability, and he understood that he was a narcissist. And when he was received the backlash of what he did, he recognized the time that he needed to relax and calm down. But now I think he is a good human being, and he recognizes that now, and he knows his flaws. But I think what's difficult for him, he's in a position where he already established himself and his persona in an industry in YouTube being that
Yeah.
character. So he's slowly trying to steer away from that, but he's still gonna have to deal with it because that's the way he rose into the way he made money and his fame. And I think slowly and surely he'll change. But Jake Paul, no, I think he's a toxic human being by his actions.
I thought Jake Paul was a younger brother.
No, that's Logan Paul. I mean, Logan Paul's the older
Really?
one. Jake Paul is the younger one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why, like, isn't it so? I just find it. Maybe it's a little weird that we look at people, but I think that's why we're fucking cool, because we like to look at people and how they
Yeah.
present themselves on the internet. Because if you really think about it, it's their video. What are they trying to present, and what persona are they trying to show an audience, and what are their flaws? So figuring it out is the fun about it.
I think it's because some people buy into how other people present themselves on the internet easily, and that's how they get influenced and persuaded into thinking of this person that they think is like their idol or something, someone who like they look up to, but they don't know if like that's how they really are, you know?
Yeah, yeah, I
Because
agree.
people will really present themselves and do the most just to get the views. And once they see if they act a certain way and they get that attention from acting that way, they'll like stick with it.
Of
Because
course.
you could act like a bad person and get all the views you want, but you could also be a good person while doing that, you know?
Yeah, and usually the virtue is what sticks out, but it also has to just demonstrate what the society is valuing. Because if the majority of the society is valuing bad morals or principles, then they're going to follow that bad behavior. But when you grow up
Like,
and you're old, you'll know virtue,
mhm.
right from wrong, and then you'll know what to follow. But yeah, I know what you mean.
That just reminds me of Lovely Peaches. Do you know her?
Lovely Peaches, is she a YouTuber?
Not really. Like, she's just this girl that would hop onto, like, famous TikTokers or, like, IG models. Like, she would hop into their lives and, like, troll them. And, like, she used to make IG videos saying, like, how she would kill her baby and shit. And just, like, horrible stuff. And, like, a lot of people, like, feed into that and, like, would be entertained by that. And I just think, like, it's so wrong. Like, even though she is in the wrong for doing what she does, like, she still deserves help, you know?
Oh, yeah, that is someone that's gone wrong and didn't have help in their mental illnesses, and she...
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm seeing it right now on the internet. I typed it up, and I'm already seeing, yep, this girl probably had a bad family unit. Her toxic behaviors were enhanced by traumatic experiences, and then she found an outlet to express herself, and when she started getting attention, she felt validated, and then, oh, man, I'm seeing it. It's creepy.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, yeah. That smile. The smile is scary.
I know. Her smile is creepy.
It looks like the kind of smile that I have lost my soul. Yeah. Oh my god. Damn, dude. I didn't even know someone like that. Well, I mean, there are people that like exist like that, but you just showed me one. Damn, are you gonna become the next Lovely Peaches? Dye your hair pink?
I'm fucking weak.
Oh my god.
That's scary.
No,
I
I'll
can
do
never
it. I'll
present
do
myself
it.
like that.
I'll do it. I'll dye my
No.
hair pink and get braids. And I'll call myself, what would my nickname be? Lovely Peaches? I'll be...
Lovely Zilla.
Lovely Zilla, yeah. I'll be Lovely Zilla. And I'll just be Zach's toxic person in the comments like, I love you so much, kill yourself. Just kidding.
Oh, God.
Oh, man. Yo, you're the first person I've ever had to talk about, like, actual YouTubers and trying to analyze them and see what's going on.
I feel like I thought it was like a normal thing to analyze YouTubers, especially like popular ones, and like how they display themselves, because you know when someone's like putting up front and doing it for publicity, you know. So I thought it was like normal to just like analyze people on YouTube.
No, yeah, for sure. I know it was normal too, but I've never encountered an interaction or a conversation when it came into doing that with YouTube and using that using your observation to try to understand what they're about. I've never had yet encountered people that would actually have a discussion on who do you watch on YouTube? What is the reason? What do you dislike? Why do you like them? You know, like as like a TV channel, because the people that I'm surrounded with that watch YouTube, well, I mean, my age group, my parents, they're too old to care about YouTube. And then my friends, well, one watches it primarily for memes and some crazy stuff, like as like his own experience to just do it for fun. And the other, he just watches military things. And the other guy that's in New York, his name's Sam, that's my other friend. I haven't been too much in contact with him, so I have no idea what he watches. So I just rely on my own subscriptions and see why I follow them, and then once in a while I clear it out of what channels I haven't seen in a while, or what's giving me insight or inspiration, or what's unique about a specific channel. Like I ran across a YouTuber that's called Dr. Eye Health, and all of his videos are pretty informational, fun, and educational, and it's about the eye. Like,
oh wow,
you know, like I would have never came across that.
Didn't see that coming.
You know, but it was something that I found just coming across because I was looking at blue light sunglasses, because if I'm gonna stay up late at night, I don't want to be dealing with eye strain. So I was looking into getting blue light sunglasses.
But hopefully you don't stay up late, because you're getting back on that schedule, right?
Yeah, that's true. So that's why I'm enjoying the conversation we're flowing. I'm just appreciating that somebody else has the eye of observation about YouTubers as much as I do with my own time when I'm actually enjoying what content I'm watching. But I also think about how their life experience is, or what's their character like, or is their direction, where are they heading in their YouTube career.
Yeah, you're right. Like, most of the people I talk to, like my friends, like whenever it comes to YouTube, like they just bring up drama, and like they don't really talk about the person but instead they talk about what the person does and like the drama they're involved in instead of like making observations. So I guess you are the first person I've encountered that makes observations on YouTubers.
But that means that there's more of us out there. We just have to encounter them.
I know, right?
There's more people like us. It makes me feel so satisfied. Oh man, I'm just embracing it. I feel good. I feel like yes, we won something. Team point one for Zilla.
We're making him proud.
I know. We're passionate about psychology, so. Hey, I have a question.
Shoot.
My question is, what do you do normally in your night routine?
I don't understand. Like when I think of night routine, I think of like skincare. Is that what you mean? Like.
No, I mean like overall, how do you set yourself up? Like, do you have a practice of getting everything ready, prepared to go to sleep, or a certain way that you like your bedroom to be, or get ready to just fall asleep?
I've never met people like that. I don't really do stuff like that. I just like wash my face, do my skincare routine, and if I'm hungry, grab a little snack, and then I just watch some YouTube videos or a movie, and I just go to sleep. But as of lately, I just go on Yubo.
Okay, well that is still a night routine so far, but okay.
I guess.
Wow, well.
Not really a routine, because it fluctuates because of Yubo now.
True, but you still have like a certain trigger and pattern of what happens. So like, I'm gonna be honest with you. I started trying to figure out my skincare products so I can get my night routine on because I want to take care of my skin. My skin is good, but I want to be.
That's good.
I want it to be pristine. I want it to be like glistening. You know what I'm saying?
Ooh,
so,
like Korean skin.
Yeah. I just found about those products, and I feel a little geeky saying this, but I found a YouTube channel that I was looking at the basics of. I just typed in like basic skincare routine, and I found this channel of this Australian and American Asian duo that talks about really good products, and I just love the way their personalities.
Wait, what's their name?
Let me try to remember. Let me find it in my I think it's in my watch later.
I think I know who you're talking about.
I hope you do. It is the person that I'm talking about. Hold on, let me find it. Maybe I put it on my.
I think so.
I'm just gonna type it in and find it. I guarantee you.
I think I know you're talking about with the Australian accent and like.
Yeah, Beauty Within.
This girl with him. Yeah. I watched them.
Okay, yeah, and I found them, and that is a good YouTube channel that knows their business. That loves what
and they recommend really great products.
They recommend products. They know how to hustle. They're in their industry. They're doing well. They're people of color, and as a guy, I know it's dominated for women, but at the same time, a guy can get into this shit. So when I was watching it, damn, I felt kind of like. I was like, bro, am I really watching all this shit? I was like, nah, we're gonna.
Have you figured out like what type of skin you have yet?
I have, if I can remember the skin types, because I haven't watched this in like a week and a half. I think my skin is dry and oily.
Oh, so you have combination skin? Do you have like an oily T-zone?
It varies, to be honest. So, like, it really depends on my body's temperature.
Maybe because
and the season.
Seasons.
It's the seasons a lot, and especially how I'm like immunocompromised. But generally during the dry season, my skin becomes dry and oily, and during the winter season, it just is dry. So overall, I'm just a dry person. So dry.
Yeah.
But it's okay.
At least you're not oily.
Only happens if I get sweaty though, or I feel really hot. But I can get that.
But you're lucky. Dry skin people aren't really prone to blackheads.
I do have a little bit. I'm looking trying to find that, but that's true. So I've been figuring out this, educating myself with skincare and all this stuff through their videos, and I've written down some products. So when I have the money to splash, I'm definitely gonna do it.
That's good. That just means you're taking care of yourself.
No, yeah, self care is the best care. It made me feel satisfying, and like I'm like, haha, I'm in a secret place that most men don't know. I found it really satisfying, yeah.
I think another YouTuber that's really informative on that is Skincare by Hiram. He's really good, and he like recommends cheap products at times too.
Skincare by who?
Hiram. Hyram.
Hiram.
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 Yes.
Oh. Wow, yes, 3 million subs? Holy damn.
Yeah.
I'll take a look into it. I'll peep. I'll peep into it. But yeah, I mean, see, you got a routine going on. Then you get your snacky snacks. Are you a person that likes salty or sweet?
Oh shit! It really depends, but I usually go for savory snacks.
Oh, so savory, but
Sweet
what kind
snacks aren't really good.
Well, what's savory to you? Because savory is broad of an adjective. I know it's something that livens your taste buds, but what is savory to you?
Well, I guess you could say like salty. Yeah, I guess you could say salty.
Or a little bit of a combination.
Yeah.
You want something a little bit tangy, but has that little sweetness to it.
Yes, you're right.
I feel that. You know what I used to do back in the day when I would eat a lot more candy, not as much anymore. Like I get really healthy stuff, but I would either get dark chocolate with pretzel sticks or licorice, and put the pretzel sticks inside so I can have like that combination of sweet and salty.
Now that I think about it, I don't think my snack is really a snack, but kind of a meal.
A meal?
I don't know if it's like a full meal, but like I just toast bread, and then I get mozzarella cheese, and I cut up tomatoes, and I season it with like garlic powder, onion powder, and like garlic oil, and then I put it on top, and then I like toast it so it can melt.
Damn, that's a whole process. How long did it take you to figure out that that's the perfect way you wanted a meal or your snack?
I don't know. I've always liked eating that. It's kind of like bruschetta. Do you know what that is?
I've heard it before, but let me remember. Let me Google search what it looks like.
It's like a baguette cut into pieces, and then they toast it so it's like really crispy, and they put like cheese and tomatoes. It's usually just tomatoes, and they would like season tomatoes and put it on top.
Yeah, I'm looking at the bruschetta, but it looks like a kebab.
A kebab?
Did I get it right? Bruschettas?
Yeah, I think that's what it's called. I don't know.
They look like kebabs.
Are you typing it in right?
Yeah, BROCHETTAS. Bruschettas?
Yeah, I think you typed it in wrong because it popped up right for me.
Maybe I'm just thinking like my Latino. Oh, I spelled it. Yeah, I'm stupid. Yeah. I thought you said bruschettas.
That, but toast? Oh, no, bruschetta. But it's hella bomb.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, it's really simple.
Oh, you're a person that likes to eat snacky snacks that are delicious.
Yes. If I'm going to eat something, I might as well make it delicious and, like, put my extra effort into it.
Yeah. So you're someone that likes small meals that can be considered snacks, but has all the flavors packed into it that can quench your appetite.
Like, the other day, I got really hungry on live, so, like, it was, like, 3 or 4 a.m., and I started cooking pasta, but it was worth it.
Damn, but I respect that. That means you're a person that respects the elegance of food and the taste, like ratatouille. I'm thinking of ratatouille right
I
now.
just like cooking a lot. It's like it's a really good hobby of mine.
Yeah, cooking is fun. I mean, the memories that you create, the love when someone makes you a dish and you have like that whole family come together about like meals that brings that sense of culture and community together, and also the
Yeah.
new flavors that you encounter by tasting a new ingredient or making a new dish. Like, dude, I'm just getting ratatouille vibes.
That's why I really like going to night markets and trying new food. And like they give you enough of a portions just so you could get like enough, like not too much, but not too little, you know?
Yeah, just right.
Yeah. And they have like street food and it's so good.
Yeah, damn. That's awesome. I think that's pretty cool that you like to cook. I mean, it must be an underrated hobby that you have.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like right now that's like the only thing I really do. I don't like my other hobby. I used to paint and draw a lot, but as of lately, I haven't had the motivation to do it.
And that's completely fine. When lightning strikes, you got to do it. When it's not around, just let it be. When the storm rolls in,
Yeah.
yeah, I know the feeling about that. Unless you want to commit and no, I want this to be my life's passion. I gotta create. But then even artists need to take breaks and like live and enjoy life. And what's the next part of your routine?
I mean, Yubo, and then and then used to like before you even joined. Like we used to end our lives at like 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock.
Oh,
Yeah.
my chest just went inward right now. I was like,
Yeah, like in the beginning, like before like Susie, Kitana, or like Pedro was even on live with us, like it would just be me, Jen, and this girl Fairlyn, and Anthony. Drew, you know Drew, right?
Drew, yeah, the guy that's an asshole.
Yeah,
Well, I'm
yeah,
only
yeah,
saying that because of how the group approaches him, and especially Tay. And if someone's going to discriminate someone based on sexual orientation, get the fuck out of here.
yeah. It's just so childish, and especially since he's like POC too. It's just like, why are you gonna oppress someone when you're oppressed yourself? Like, shouldn't you know how that feels?
But I'm light skinned.
Yeah, like, that's literally his reason for everything. You should see it. It's really funny. Like he's like he would
Does he
usually
have the
whenever
kind of
we would
stereotypical African American voice that goes like, "Hey, yo, what's up, ma? How you doing?"
yeah. Oh, bruh, it's kind of spot on because he has like a raspy voice, like
Right?
a sleepy voice.
I don't think he would have it high pitched, but I think he's like, yeah, I'm just chilling. How you all doing? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You should have invited him yesterday. Dang it, just to hear that. But you were kind of spot on with that. But yeah, every time he says something really foul and someone would call him out on it, like he would just say, "I don't care. I'm right. I'm a light skin." Like, jeez,
I bet he's very passive aggressive when he insults someone. I bet he's
He is.
like, bro, you kind of a bitch. But I'm just kidding though, huh?
No, he did that to this girl. Like, he did this to this girl one time, and like, I felt bad because she didn't really do anything to deserve it. He just didn't like her, and it's just like, sheesh. Like, you give people a reason, like, for people not to like you, and you're confused on why, but you don't give, like, people don't give you a reason for you not to like them. So why are you being like that? You know?
Well, that's a good. Well, thank you for your opinion on that. Now I'll be wary of Drew's attitude and who he is as a person.
Yeah,
But besides
I'm
that,
surprised he didn't troll you yesterday. Because every time there's someone new into the group, he would troll them.
I think he can recognize a real one that I would fucking clap back. I would
Yeah,
mess around
but
with him.
he really likes arguing. So, like, even if you feed into it, he'll like it. Because he likes the
Right,
attention.
because he instigates and he wants it to be just all
Yes.
about him and evolves. But you know that to deal with people like that, you just become indifferent. We already discussed this. So end game, if I recognized that in Drew, I would have just ended it being quiet, and then he would have tried to attempted to rile me up by saying something or trying to attack something about my character or any insecurity that he perceives as. But I'll just stay quiet and say, "Yep, that's cool," and then he would get bored, and then he'd leave.
I actually like doing that. Like when people try to attack my insecurities, I start agreeing with them, and it just backfires for them.
No. What I do is I embrace it and actually enhance it and make it actually something that I embrace. And once I do that, they don't really have anything to attack against me with. And then it just becomes them trying to pick at it, but then they can know that I'm security. So then they don't know what else to attack. And then they become bored if, because you didn't give them the attention anymore. And then it just finishes.
I hope you get to meet him one day. He's an interesting character.
Well, I don't care about Drew right now. I care about this conversation. It's much more better that we're having an awesome talk rather than talk about this "what up, bro" kind of guy. I think this is much more interesting. You got any thoughts? Anything you want to discuss?
I don't know. Like other than like what we talked about yesterday, like I pretty much like kind of like said it all in the comments without really explaining what had happened to me,
Oh yeah, you were mentioning how. Okay, well, if you feel comfortable enough to share, but what can you not emotionally let go of? What is
Wait, what?
what is the experience exactly that you're holding on to that's emotionally you're holding on
I
to?
recently got out. I recently got out of an abusive relationship. So, yeah, it happened recently. So, I'm still trying to heal from it, but it's hard.
Right. And is that something that you want to discuss, or are you not feeling comfortable?
No, like I'm pretty comfortable discussing it. It's just like I'm like I feel like if someone were to ask me what had happened, I would be okay with telling them, but it's just I get guarded and I get cautious to whether I should tell them or not. It's because I don't want to like reflect on how I messed up on my part and how like it was kind of my fault on how things had turned out, because with the situation I feel like it could have been easily avoided if I just had reached out to my family, my friends, but until it was too late, like I was kind of forced to tell them what had happened. And I feel like I like blame myself a lot for that, because I could have done something to help myself, but I chose not to.
I'm just taking that in. I'm just listening.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking if I've had any moments in my life, or especially in a romantic relationship, where I felt that way, and thinking about it. Yeah.
And I think it was because like the way I perceived love at that time was really childish. Like I thought of it as like, oh, like if I stick with him no matter what, through thick and thin, I'm his ride or die, like that I'll receive the same amount of love that I give, And I think that's why I held on to that relationship for so long and just dealt with the physical abuse.
Right. So you were projecting the ideal and the narrative that we grew up in with movies of how if true love lasts, if you can go through the most difficult times and the positive ones, but the truth is it's more has to do with character development and compatibility. But yeah, I can see how that can twist your imagination and feel.
Yeah. And especially with him, like he kept implementing that idea too. Because I'm not gonna lie, he was a hood rat. So like he was the type to be like, oh, I I want a girlfriend that's like my ride or die, that will be my Bonnie and Clyde, like that type of shit, you know. And he would always implement it into my brain and be like, if you really loved me, you would see that I will change, and like, and I honestly knew what I was getting myself into, but I was just stupidly like in love with the dude, and I feel, and that's what I always blame myself for. It's just because, like, I've seen the signs and I've seen what he's done to other people, and I've seen what he's done to me, and I still kept running back to him. And, like, I didn't tell anyone, you know, and I didn't reach out for the help that I needed. And when I did reach out for it, I got harassed by him and his friends. And I just felt like, well, if I get help, I'm still going to have to deal with him. Like, he's still going to get his friends to, like, harass me, blah, blah, blah. And if I don't get help, I still have to deal with him, like, hitting me and stuff, you know? So
yeah,
it was just
because the moment when you expected or hoped that you would have an emotional support or get the appropriate helping hand, whatever it may be, you became victimized, and then you felt conflicted if this is appropriate, but you didn't have anybody to help you along that emotional path, and that must have been pretty difficult.
It was hard because when like I finally like got the cops involved for the restraining order and everything, like the questions they were hitting me with, like it was hard because they like it just made me feel stupid, you know. The things they were asking me, they kept like asking like, well, if you know that he's like that, then why would you go back, you know? I was like, well, shit, I don't fucking know, like, and it just made me feel like, why am I reaching for help if I did it to myself, you know? Like, I was basically asking for it, and that's just how I still feel about the whole situation.
I'm just processing everything you said and emotionally feeling, empathizing with you, sympathizing. I think you have to understand that. Well, let me ask you this question. Do you think that? Well, actually, even more. I'm being more curious. How did you two initiate your whole romantic relationship? What was the basis of the attraction? Was it that you guys genuinely had a nice friendship, or was it feeling some infatuation you had for each other, or was it what was it exactly that initiated it?
It started out as a friendship. Well, as a short friendship. Like, we met at school, obviously, and we started off as friends talking, and then we stopped talking, and then we just clicked back again, and then we just got into a relationship, and it was pretty good for the first 6 months, but then after that, it just started going downhill, like, after he hit me the first time, and, like, I forgave him, of course, and, like, I was always the type of girl to be firm, and I was like, oh, even if he cheats on me, if he does some shit that was out of hand, I would drop him, no second chances, blah, blah, blah. But with this guy, I don't know what had happened, because now that I look back at it, he wasn't really that, good of a guy, you know? Like, he didn't really have a lot of goals, and he didn't really have a lot of motivation to even, like, continue with school. So that's why it's like, damn, what was I doing, you know? And it's like, I'm just really disappointed in myself because I set the bar so low, so too low. And it's just like, I don't know where it all went wrong. And I feel like with how it all was in the beginning and then how it progressed to going downhill, I felt like the little things I would nag him about, or like how I just didn't trust him at times, I just felt like it was just him like releasing all his built-in anger at like the little things I would like nag him about on. So I just felt like why he hit me was just my fault and that I did it, you know?
Yeah. I appreciate being honest and you being vulnerable to talk about this stuff because, I mean, when I hear these kind of stories, it just, as a person, I genuinely want to help and get my opinion and
Yeah.
perspective on it. And I can relate to how you said, you said it maybe a few minutes ago how you felt disappointed with how naive you were and manipulated.
Yeah.
And I can relate to that in my own experience because, um, one second. I can relate to that because in my own life experience, when I was younger, around, well, with my own romantic relationships and growing up as a young guy, and I think my experience was slightly unique. Everyone's is, but in this case of I didn't have any experience with the opposite sex, and I mean with knowing how to have a conversation with them in a man to woman way, or like have my first kiss until high school, right? So
Mhm.
my first experience was very nice, but then I got involved with a girl back because I wasn't taught what to look for in a romantic relationship, and I can relate to how you were fed a romantic narrative through Disney movies or uh, the
Mhm.
things that we were shown of how the method or like the images of an ideal. I projected onto that with when I had my first opportunity and potential for a romantic relationship with someone. But the thing that I didn't take into hand was this girl's name was Charity, and Charity, what I knew from her background, um, she was somebody who came from a dysfunctional family, which you and I both know that's not the only factor that makes an individual, because people can rise above that
Mhm.
situation and transcend and become a virtuous person. But in this case, with her dynamic, she was lacking a good, structured, masculine male role model because she did have her emotional support from her mom. But the only thing her mom was to her was, financial security and emotional support, but not the kind of wisdom and guidance of how to be a woman. And the one of when you have the father figure, whether it's a guy or a girl being raised, to know what do you look for in the same sex or in the opposite sex. So with that,
Mhm.
in my own case, my father wasn't around to teach me this, and I was raised by my mother practically. So when I got involved in this romantic relationship, as I can relate with this first 6 months, it was very enjoyable. The honeymoon phase, enjoying making
Mhm.
romantic memories, becoming emotionally bonded, becoming interdependent, and connecting through just the sheer joy of the romantic aspect of being a human being. But then it transcended to a point where the behaviors of her flaws in her character came to present itself. Of when we initiated, I was, as you can relate, you know how you said in the beginning you knew this person was not the greatest, and
Mhm.
but there was something that, and to be honest, that something was the opportunity to experience, to just take the initiative, and at the age we were at, or whenever you were deciding to be in that relationship, to just commit and explore, because that was the only moment where we felt at the time and given the circumstances to proceed to pursue that. And my moment, that was mine. And I heard that she had a background of doing drugs. She would get sometimes into problems, and but I what I did was to listen to her story, and I empathized. And when I started to understand her and her personality and how she interacted with me as a friend, platonically, I admired her. So why not take the initiative and take the leap of being romantic? And that's what I did. But the unfortunate case is, she at the time, weed was not legal in our state. Usually when people do it at an adolescent age, it's with behaviors that are unassociated, associated with being a delinquent and what's up and those social roles. But, as we both know, weed can be medicinally good for you and et cetera, et cetera. But in this case, her intention with using weed was to just for her own pleasure, and we made a commitment to not get involved with that. And when she lied to me, it was betraying my trust. And from then on, I forgave her because I was naive enough to not know the difference of how to set boundaries, right? And then eventually, she took my kindness, my good-heartedness, my feminine nature of my humanity of being a masculine guy, and manipulated it. And it got so toxic to a point. I'll give you an example where I think this is the feeling that you can feel, and I'm only acknowledging it and sharing it because I can imagine this is how you felt, and I'm addressing it to personally just let it go and forgive it, but also to acknowledge that it happened, and I experienced emotional abuse and manipulation. Is when we were stagnating in our relationship, and it's starting to go very toxic. Not in the toxic sense of we'd have really horrible arguments, but bad communication. Sometimes there'd be very passive aggressive arguments, but there was this time when she would just sleep over at my house here and there, and when she didn't show up one night, it found it very suspicious. And this is when I had Snapchat for duration for a few months before I deleted it. I noticed she was with a group of guys, and one of them was somebody she was romantically interested in that I knew before she got involved with me. And she ignored me, and throughout that whole night, I was in completely paranoia and upset and pondering with my analytical brain of why would someone do this and trying to understand. And then she finally came that morning, early in the morning. It was like 6:40. She was by the bike trail where I lived, and I confronted her, and I remember how much enraged I was of the lack of communication. I felt betrayed. I felt that I was taken advantage of I was naive, or just felt like a complete fool to be in that position, and that she felt that she was superior in the sense to take advantage of me in that way emotionally. And her response to when I asked her why was, oh my God, I still remember it to this day. But I'm going to forgive it right now. It saddened me now looking at it because I didn't know any better. But she looked at me in the sense in a way of, I don't know. But the expression on her face was she exactly knew what she was doing, but she didn't have the balls or courage to actually tell me in my face that I'm trying to emotionally manipulate you from her facial expression. And I started crying in tears of rage. And I wanted to break up with her there. But I didn't because I thought, as you with your whole ideal with sticking it through and whatnot, I said, I'm just emotionally upset right now. I have to deal with this. I can figure it out. And I don't know how I was emotionally persuaded to calm myself down, but I did. And eventually in time, we did break up, and I recognized the toxic behaviors, and I had enough of it, and felt free. But when you don't have the wisdom or guidance or anybody to emotionally support you in that moment, you do feel isolated, and you feel guilty that you were put in that position. But I think now when I've looked back at that experience and emotionally how I felt, it was never our fault to begin with. It was just a lack of knowledge and experience and wisdom. And we had to just take it as it was. And now it made us better to know when we choose another partner, as I've done in my whole life from that severe negative experience I went through those last several months I was in a relationship with. It made me really cautious and very careful on my intent when I get involved with a woman, but also to know what the relationship is evolving to and see if she's someone of good character that I can be involved with. So that's the lessons I've learned and the wisdom I always applied ever since that. So that's why I'm grateful to the experience, and I forgive it because she was dealing with her own traumas and her own insecurities and her own problems because she was at the same age as I was. What if I was in that opposite role as her? How would she want to interact with me? And what if she learned how to grab someone's attention, especially romantically. Maybe she was taught that behavior because of someone in her family. So just with growing up and living life and getting educated, I began to forgive that situation and just emotionally let it go, because I knew it was just circumstances that put me in that position, and I love myself, and I give my love to myself in that moment. And I think that's the same kind of feeling and compassion you need to give to yourself whenever you felt that traumatic moment when that emotional experience happened to you, because I can relate to that with my own story. And the reason why I'm sharing it is because I know what it feels like to be emotionally abused or manipulated, but also the beauty of transcending and using it for the better for your own self, and to share with someone else that there's no shame and no guilt to be emotionally feel just less than, because it was never your fault to begin with. It was just circumstances, and you deserve to give yourself love. Simple as that.
Mm, well, yeah, you have a point. But I just feel like it's because I did everything at will, you know?
Yeah, I did it as well. I did it on my own will as well. But we didn't know any better. That just goes why I value wisdom so much. That's why you're so a deep thinker and you're a critical thinker. I just, I think you deserve to give yourself grace and mercy to your situation that you were in.
I don't know. I just feel like seeing how naive I was and how I let that situation, like, go, I feel like I can do that again, you know?
It can only happen if you allow yourself to believe that it can happen again. The way to change is to know the wisdom of what you learned from that experience. Because what did you learn? You did learn wisdom from it. You know where you look, well, at least in my own thoughts, is what's a healthy relationship, and what's a toxic one, and how to distinguish either or, and if it what the relationship dynamic is going to.
That's a thing. Like, I knew it was toxic, but I just decided to stay.
It's because you were emotionally bonded with that person, and that's completely okay. It took me several months to emotionally not disconnect, but uh, emotionally d- just make the bond disappear slowly, like make it less connected my self-esteem to my other partner. And when the moment was courage and I saw the reality as it is, that I was being treated poorly, then the moment of freedom happened. And then I recognized that those behaviors can change and I can find something better. That's all you got to do too, Lynn. I'm only sharing this because I can relate to that experience, and I'm just trying to give value, you know?
Mm-hmm. How did you move on from that situation or that relationship? Like, how did you heal from it and, like, learn that it was okay to be naive to that situation?
Well,
Because I want to forgive myself. Like, I want to think that it wasn't my fault.
right,
And that, you know, that I was just, like, literally blind.
right.
But it's like,
You weren't blind, but you
when,
didn't
it's
have
like,
the self-awareness or the wisdom to
yeah,
know what what kind of relationship you were getting involved with, and what was the the consequences of it, because there was no one there to tell you what was the what was the potential of that relationship and the consequences.
Like, I even went to the point where even my family like knew it was toxic, and they would like try to convince me to like just let go of him, but I just didn't want to, because I kept thinking that there was hope that things will turn around and things would change for the better, but it just got worse and worse. And I just like, I don't know, it's just like I had so many like red flags and signs and like just bad vibes like pointing at the relationship saying get away from it, but and I knew it, like I just willingly just dealt with it. And I just felt stupid when the police were questioning me and saying, so, oh, you were doing this at will and you knew that he was being abusive, but you still stayed? Like, now it just sounds like a fetish. Like, they literally thought that I had a fetish for him abusing me.
Right. And you know,
it just made me feel stupid.
And yeah, in that moment made you, because you were vulnerable, and then you have someone in a position of authority telling you their own opinion, and it's not true, because you know it's not true. It wasn't a fetish. And to be honest, when I took a sociology class, the sociology professor that I had, there's a very important something very important I want to share right here. Let me just gather my thoughts. Oh, that she came from a family of cops and a background where her family wasn't from San Diego, and how the cops are, and she showed a pie graph, right? And she was stating that how generally in the U.S. the police department, the majority of the training cops have is only with learning. It's like being in the military. They know the strategies, they know the protocol, and learning how to protect themselves in the fields with disputes or any situations that have to do with physical violence. But when it comes to problems that has to do with psychological issues on disputes like that, they don't have the education to know how to solve it. So probably when those comps said that to you, it was by their own ignorance and naiveness to the situation. They weren't properly educated on to how to approach your situation. Definitely, if it was a psychologist on the field, they would have phrased their words very differently, because that was a very, very emotionally vulnerable moment for you. And I just, I'm disappointed when those moments happen to people, but I want to tell you that that's false. I don't think that you can let go of that lie that they told you, because that's not true, because you knew that it's not. You knew the truth is that you were just stuck in a complex emotional situation. And that it was completely fine that you wanted to get yourself out of it, because you loved yourself and respected yourself enough to have the courage to escape that emotional abuse. And you did. And I admire that. And that's why I admire the human spirit, because deep down we know what our intuition, our consciousness knows the right way to guide us when we're feeling threatened, or to pursue us in the right direction that we crave. And you did that for yourself. And right now you're calling to forgive yourself. And how you asked me how I managed to forgive myself in that situation was with learning life experiences and stage development. And I'll try to summarize it here pretty quickly. Is after I broke up with her, I decided to focus my energy, my development on myself. I looked into theology for a bit. I wanted to apply to myself to different social groups, be involved around people that are aspiring to be better in a sense with high school. But I did plug myself in appropriate social groups that were striving to be in better situations for themselves. And being motivated, influenced around that, helped me motivate myself to educate myself. And finally, when I went out of high school, I took the time to educate myself and understand a little more on philosophy and psychology, vaguely, but just to follow what it's like to live life and just be a member of society, be a productive member. Then finally, the moment when it hit me to forgive myself of that romantic interest is when I felt ready to date again. And when I would date, I came from a place of just being a genuine human being and recognize the other person is a human being. But obviously I have that physical and romantic attraction, you build interest in time. But when I would get into these roadblocks or when they'd ask questions when you're in a conversation, I noticed I had a conflict within myself to be vulnerable about my romantic past and what exactly I experienced and why. Like with Chris, he had a bad emotional experience. I recognized there was unresolved emotional trauma within myself. So what I decided to do was go to a psychologist, look at some philosophy books, and just be with my own thoughts and my emotions and just acknowledge what's the truth about why I'm feeling this way. And when I got to that point, I recognized, regardless of God or not with life, I just recognized in my own circumstances, going back to that present moment, what I knew in the knowledge of life, the wisdom, the family I was around, the dynamics, the relationships. Was there anything I could have done differently? Was there anybody that I could have asked for help? And did I make the best decision for myself? And did I deserve to now look back, knowing what I know now, forgive myself of the situation I put myself in, because I love myself and I respect myself, and I deserve grace and mercy to that situation because I genuinely wanted the best for myself and the other person. And it unfortunately just didn't go well because of personal flaws that she was dealing with, and it was out of my control. And the moment that I recognized that, I wept, I cried, I embraced it, and progressively I changed. And then I felt genuinely healed from that, and I felt at peace and graceful, that now that it's just a beauty mark, a scar, that it's like a badge of remembering what I experienced and why, how to be in relationships with women and what I'm looking for, and also to protect my own emotions and allow, when it's vulnerable, to share with someone else. And I would have never came to that conclusion if I just didn't take the courage in the moment to just really embrace the feeling of pain and betrayal or guilt that was there, and just embraced it. I just accepted it, that I felt that way. And when I did, I just felt really free and at peace. And then the wisdom came afterwards to know these lessons.
Maybe it just takes me having to accept the fact that it had happened and that it's in the past to move on. But like sometimes, like I would also get like irrational fears of like, oh, what if he's like near me? Like, what if he's doing this? Like, what if he's doing that? Because even though I have a restraining order on him, there's been times where he wouldn't even follow me. So it's just like, shit.
Yeah, that's more of an external factor, but it is valid. That
Yeah. And it's just like, fuck, I don't know what to do. It's like, I haven't even moved on from what happened, but then I have to worry about, like, where I am and, like, worried about my surroundings. And the fact that, like, I'm going to the same school as him just makes it even worse.
Yeah, I didn't know that. That must be to feel that chapter of your life. Physically, in reality, it's over, but emotionally, that it feels still relevant makes you trigger back into that. So it's not giving you the grace period you need to just internalize and process that what happened to you is over.
Yeah, and it doesn't even help with like the people I surround myself with, because all they would just say is like, oh, now that the restraining order's on him, like, you can move on, like, it's a new chapter, like, you can finally be happy again. But it's like, I wish that it was that simple, but shit, like, I have like times where I get paranoid, or like times where I would think that he's near the surrounding area. So, I don't know.
With that situation, it's having emotional resilience to know that it's changed and to know the behavior that you're someone that respects yourself now and you will not tolerate that behavior, and you know you won't now because you put yourself in that situation and you did that, so you protected yourself. And I think that's an affirmation I recommend you state to yourself whenever you get that moment of insecurity or paranoia that triggers, because the truth is you did handle it. It's just obviously in the moment when you're within yourself and your own stress triggers it. Obviously you need something to reinforce and remember that I respect myself. I stood up to him. I put a restraining order, and I have self-respect for myself now. Whatever that feels personally unique to you, that you find it, but some affirmation that makes you feel completely secure in the moment when you feel completely nervous, to give you that courage. That's what I think.
I'm glad I told you. Like, this is probably like the best advice anyone's ever given to me.
I told you I genuinely wanted to just listen to your story and then give the best advice I can with my own life experience and the knowledge I know, because I just makes this, I feel so rewarded that I can help someone else and transform their own being, and then they move on and from their life experience, and it transforms into something even better.
I feel bad because I know some people who try to help me, or it comes from a genuine place, but it's like, the shit they say just doesn't really help, you know?
Right, because it takes a lot of communication skills, the right education and knowledge. And in my situation, in my case, I think the difference is I'm looking at it from an analytical perspective. I'm being objective with you, while giving my own personal experiences and connecting the similar emotional experiences that have occurred. And I'm using what I know of knowledge of psychology to help you out in those specific moments when you emotionally are processing that, and what to change it. And obviously it's going to take time and for you to plant the seeds and actually act upon it. But I do have faith in you that you will. It obviously can't occur overnight. Maybe internally it can. But once you start to embrace and genuinely accept the feeling and embrace it of what you feel that you're dreading and not wanting to put in, because you need maybe a compassionate ear, someone listening to you that genuinely respects you and your story to transform, that's when real transformation happens. Because deep down you know that it's time to let go of those emotional lives that you've been living in, and time to allow yourself to have the freedom to be the Lynn that feels emotionally secure about who she is, and that she is a person that respects herself and wants the best for herself. Because I think it was just an unfortunate situation that you encountered. And it's simple as that. Just as how I got encountered with my ex.
It's good to let that go.
And my personal recommendation to do it, to really let it go, is put yourself in an environment, music, something that calms you, you feel safe, and start to just emotionally go back to the places and the memories that you felt that experience. And then in your imagination, see where you are right now and how much you've grown in your own character. And then go back to that younger self and have a meeting between both of them at that moment. And this is how I've done it, at least. What I'm doing when I use my imagination this way is, when I would go back to that younger 15-year-old self, and when I was older, I would have them have a dialogue of the one that felt guilty, the 15-year-old self, and the 21-year-old, or the one I did when I talked about it when I was 19, 20, say, listen, bro, you can forgive yourself. It's okay, I love you. And when I did that kind of self-dialogue, I just cried. I felt the compassion. I embraced the fear. I embraced the guilt. I embraced that 15-year-old self. I just hugged him in my imagination, my consciousness. And who I was right now, I could feel that he was becoming me, the 21-year-old version. And now I was emotionally secure. And I felt completely satisfied and free from that emotional burden. That's just how I attempted it, and it worked. And other times it's been with emotional support of a loving friend or family member or romantic relationship that was just that compassionate ear to listen to and emotionally vent the not negative emotion. But in this case, when you're doing it with yourself, I think that's the best way, and that's how I did it.
I meant, as in let go, I meant like tell you.
What's up?
By the way, when I said let go, I meant tell you.
Oh, damn. My bad. Well,
Yeah.
at least I told
No,
you a
it's okay.
method. At least I told you my method.
It was good.
I just gave like a whole sentimental like process of how I let it go in my own emotional being, and that's okay though. But that's how I did it. I hope some of this, you apply or do. I just, I know how hard it is to move from things that people feel emotionally stuck. So I thought I could give at least something in my time to just hear you out, because sometimes you need someone to just listen and give their best advice.
Yeah. If I was talking to my parents about this, they would be so logical about it, which is good. Like that's what I want. Like for them to be brutally honest, but shit, they don't understand what I emotionally went through.
Yeah.
or speaking.
And that's why it's a process of both of them. You need the logic and the emotional aspect to heal from it.
Yeah. And that's why like I was always like, oh, what's the point in like, if I know I'm doing something else? That's how I saw it.
Yeah. You've been intellectually, you've always finished it, but emotionally now you're ready to do that part. And I have faith that you will. How I know? Because you took the time to listen, have this conversation with me, and be vulnerable enough to share about it. And this is what's your big concern deep down within you. And I feel the genuineness of how the desire that you want to be free of this. And that desire, that strong, passionate desire to be free, is what's going to compel you to change, and rather than live in fear about it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Damn. You're very well spoken to the point where it's like, I have no words because it's like, said what I needed to hear,
Yeah, and from trial and error, by listening to people's stories and getting to this emotional place, I've learned the balance of being really objective, but also being emotionally involved and personal, where I can tap into where you need to be logical, but also emotionally involved to help someone understand both and solve the root of the emotional and logical problem, because you need both for them to transform. And I just felt that you needed the emotional perspective of it. Because you're a human being, what happened to you is valid, and now it's time to transform it. Because you matter, dude.
To most.
Well, you matter to the group. I mean, I talked to you for we're going on an hour, 30-minute conversation right now. I cared enough to be on a talk with you, and I genuinely wanted to know who you are and actually help you with something, because I admire your personality, who you are, and your character. And I know when someone being an outsider looking in, as me being using always my objective judgment, all you needed was someone to support you, and like I said, with showing you the new door of your perspective to help you just grow as a person, because sometimes all we need is that voice, that new perspective to help us change.
I really appreciate you. Thank you. Even though, like, out of everyone, I just met you, and no one in the group other than Jenn knows this. And I was like, I'm really glad I was able to trust you enough to be open and
And
vulnerable.
I genuinely appreciate it. And what you and I discussed will be private, and I will respect the intimate discussions we've had, because it's between us, and obviously I'm going to respect what has been shared between us, because that's what makes a relationship. We're friends. And my intention, like I said in the very beginning of last night, I'm just here to give value and be a good person. And I just knew by my own educational background and my life experience, I have a gift and talent in this. And I just wanted to see if I can help you. Simple as that. And I mean, I really hope I did, because
You did.
I mean, I remember when people have helped me out of the genuine kindness and generosity of their own hearts, or because they cared for me as a person, personally, whatever the motivation was. But you know, we remember those moments when a stranger, somebody close to us, or a family member sacrificed, or not even sacrificed, or sometimes sacrificed for us. But what's really even more cherished is when someone doesn't need to sacrifice themselves and they give of themselves willingly with not expecting anything from return. That's selflessness. And people that are like that, and I've interacted with people like that in my life, it helps me want to just be that way. So that's why to me, this time, the way we talked, I learned as much as you learned. Because I'll be able to help the next person with this similar experience, maybe. And also, I learned how do people change, and also what it is to just be a good human being. You know?
Really conversation.
Yeah. It can be lighthearted now if you want. I just wanted to. Yeah. I just. I wanted to help you. I mean, that's the best way I can put it. It is what it is.
Thank you. Yeah, that's honestly for the longest time, that's how I've been countering it. Like, I would be like, oh, it is what it is. Like, if I'm sad about it, I'm sad. You know, there's nothing I can do about it. And it's just been like, for the longest time, I've been stuck, like, thinking, like, oh, I'm sad. There's nothing I can do. And, like, just in a state where I didn't really, wasn't really motivated to help myself. But, like, ever since talking about it, I've been, like, feeling like things will change and that there's hope for me and that I will emotionally get past it and forgive myself.
And I believe you will. It's just gonna. It's not. You know how movies, like, oh my god, I've changed immediately. Next moment, oh wow, I'm a superhero now. All this, no, real life shit. That only happen. That's a progression. That takes time. That takes like, okay, practicing, being in it, embracing the new version of yourself, and feeling. And then over time, as days go by, overall
Yeah.
a month, you're gonna be like, wow, okay, now I feel the change. That's how it'll occur.
Man, maybe I should manifest it into the universe so it will happen.
Oh, that's true, right? Because whatever you're thinking in your emotions and how you're using your imagination.
Do you really think that's real?
Yeah. In one way or another, because that's using your faith. You're either thinking in faith-based thinking in emotional states, or you're in fear-based thinking and imagination. And what you're using your imagination and what plane of emotions you're using dictates your actions most of the time. So if you're in a state of being in faith and you're using your imagination to achieve the higher self or what you want to do in life, you're going to achieve it because you're imagining yourself being in that way and producing the results you want in your mind. Meanwhile, if you're in the fear-based area, the thing that you're projecting in your own being is going to manifest because you keep constantly dwelling on that. You know?
Mhm.
But the beauty is, all it takes is mercy, grace, compassion, and love to just change it. To just embrace it and accept the emotions and allow compassion to come in. It's so easy. All it takes is a little bit of effort.
Oh, shit. Did you get an invitation from Chris?
No, I'm not on Yubo. I was just focused on our conversation.
No, you didn't get a notification?
No, like I said, like I'm not logged into Yubo right now. I've been just focusing on what we've been discussing.
Out?
Did you hear me?
Yeah. Hello?
Hello?
Did it just like out or what?
No, I can hear you.
Oh. No, because I thought you said...
You thought I said what?
that you couldn't hear me.
Hello, are you there?
Yes.
Sound a little staticky over on your end.
Oh, shit.
It sounds like dinner plates and stuff are going down.
I was just gonna wash dishes.
Oh, so you're in the kitchen.
Yeah, well, what?
Oh, I see. Hey, by the way,
Yes?
usually, you know how I told you I've been recording conversations?
Oh, yeah, from Omega, right?
Yeah, and I've been just doing that stuff. But also, I've been very intentful with when I have conversations than to save them and record them. And this conversation, I've been recording it this whole time. Do you want me to send it to you?
Sure.
So you can reflect on it and just remember the conversation, so you can remember what the important lessons and conversation we had, so it like emotionally helps you reinforce to stay on your path.
Yeah.
Because like I can edit it out and get on the part that's really like the nitty gritty of it, and then
It's okay, that's too much work.
now it's pretty easy, honestly. All I have to do is just timestamp it and then cut the beginning and then the little extras at the end. There's like a good chunk of us like talking about it for like 40 minutes.
That's up to you. I don't really mind.
Well, I'm gonna send it your way and I'll get to it and send it like in a day or two. Because I think it'll be good to have, so you can see, remember.
That's pretty smart.
Yeah.
You take some notes.
And it'll be a reflection for yourself.
Yeah.
Besides that, though, I mean, I think definitely we can feel more chill and lighthearted now, because that was an emotionally heavy conversation for the both of us.
Wait, what?
I said I think that was. Now we can just go into more lighthearted topics to see if maybe they're on the group to. We can feel more lighthearted, because that was a definitely a heavy topic to discuss.
Oh, I have a question.
Yeah.
What did... Like, actually, through the comments, what did you think I was going...
Hold on one second. You kind of cut out there. Can you say that again?
I said, like, initially, like, through the, like, small...
When people are having an emotional experience I haven't, I can feel and connect and connect and empathize with it, because I've already emotionally been in that story and heard it from a different experience, and how they've been in the trenches and how they've overcame it. Because now, as a human being, I know the themes, how they struggled, how they overcame, and emotionally connected myself with their story, who they are as a human being. I can provide the same value of what that story was specifically, and it wasn't mine, and apply it to someone else that has a similar story.
You know, yeah. Like once, like hello.
I can hear you.
Oh, I said once things get better and like I've moved on, please like you should record that convo of me like telling you how I've learned to turn things around, and we can compare the two conversations and see the time span between them.
No, that's now you're see, Lynn. This is why I like you, dude. See, you're thinking already, big brain already about it. See, and you just thinking about it like that. That just goes to show that you're already initiating in your character the development that you want. You've committed. You've committed. You're emotionally getting. See, you're playing with it now. You're having the courage. I like it. See, but that is a great idea, and I would love to do that. Yeah. Because I'll send you the part in specific where you need. I think it'll be a good audio tape for you. But overall, the beginning and us laughing about just talking about just building, a connection. I'm gonna keep that for myself to just see how it flowed and whatnot. But do you mind? I'm gonna keep you. So, what I would like to do with this recording, because it's pretty relevant and pretty fresh and pretty new. I would like to upload it, but I'm going to not put your name anonymous.
Oh, that's fun.
Because I with each person I ask when I've gone on to Omegle or whatnot, I first ask, okay, do you want to at least be recorded so you have like, I can show what you look like or at least know your name or whatever it is. And if you want to be anonymous, I can put you as anonymous and just have these conversations for anybody that it'll give value to or any insights. That's my approach to these.
Dude, that would be like a good ass like YouTube like type of concept.
Just talking to people from different walks and their life experience and guiding them and helping them, like
yes,
a psychologist.
And on Omegle too. Damn. But then at the same time, you're meeting a stranger, so you don't know if they would be open to be vulnerable with you.
Right, but I've met enough that it just depends. It is a good idea. It is worth considering, and I'm going to see how I can integrate that, but I definitely see how there's value, and people would love to have these genuine connection and conversations, because the whole point of a conversation is to connect with somebody emotionally and the ideas and their intelligence to help you transform and take action to be the better versions of yourselves. So, I mean, that's why I'm going to send you this audio recording in like a day or two so I can just so you can have it and see. And then over time, because I genuinely feel that we'll be friends because, the friend group that we made on Yubo, I feel genuinely connected with everyone there. It's the first time I felt like I actually found a Yubo group. So I know we'll maintain our connection, so and everyone else. It's just that'll be definitely something I'd be looking forward to and see how you grow in several months, because there's going to be different circumstances and factors, of course, that are at play, not this, but at least we tapped into this very specific thing that you've been dealing with emotionally, and now I feel like we've resolved or have problem solved what we got to do for you, and we'll see how you implement the wisdom into your life. That's going to take some time because you have to be in the moment and apply it. And then this audio recording will help you reinforce it.
Dude, we're on to something. This will change the world. Your podcast will change the world.
I'm just trying to be a good human, okay? I saw a friend in need. So, but yeah, you're onto something, and I like your creative.
People trying to do sticky links during quarantine, but you're out here saving lives.
Thank you. And you know what's ironic about this? I don't have any credentials, or anything, but I genuinely feel that, I don't know, from my it's a mix of my life experience, my education, the humanities I know, and just being an understanding human being that's helped me be in this weird plane to know how to say the appropriate context or right wisdom to apply and help the person accordingly. I don't know, man. I'm just glad I helped you, dude.
Thank you. It's really nice of you.
I mean, I already do this. I was trying to figure out why I'm doing this on Omegle. I was like, I'm trying to analyze people. I'm trying to be like, know their stories. And what do I love about stories? I'm trying. What's the next evolution to that? Can I help someone solve their emotional turmoil? And then I was like, man, we'll see. I don't know. And then I saw how you connected with me. We were being vulnerable. I was like, we'll see. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know, Lynn. Uh, I just feel very flattered and appreciated, and I feel humbled. But at the same time, to take it back on you and compliment yourself, you're the one that initiated. You're the one that put themselves in the courageous, bold position to be vulnerable, to have the willingness and the risk to share your life experience with me, because I know we built rapport. I know you're a human being that, but you know, in some ironic sense of the term, I'm still a stranger, and you trusted me, and I appreciate that so much.
Oh shit! It cut off.
All I was saying is that I appreciate that you trusted me, and that we helped you. I gained some wisdom, and I helped you really get what you really wanted out of this conversation.
I'm surprised I was able to trust you so easily. I don't know. It's just the way you talk and the way you listen just really made me trust you a lot. Because it's hard for me to trust people.
And you
And
know
I've
what?
only known you for like a short amount of.
Are you there? I think it cut out. If you can hear me, it cut out for a second. Are you there? Hello? Yodelay. Oh, I can hear you again. You hear me? Hello? Let's see. Maybe I'll put my LTE on. Hold on, I'm gonna call you back. Hello? Do you hear me? Oh no, the connection's all whack. Oh no. Can you hear me? Because I can't hear you. Yeah, I know, honestly, like trying to figure out what are these two delinquents talking about. But you were saying with how the trust, and you know what, I was gonna finish your sentence. What I think is, I think it's my sincerity and that I'm being authentic with who I am. What comes across, that you can feel it in my character, so it makes you feel that this person's being genuine.
Yeah. And I think it's because like you also like to analyze, so I wanted to know with how you observe things. I wanted to know how you would perceive my story.
Right. And there's so much more to know. I still don't know all the other aspects of Lynn. I only know one sliver, but there's definitely a whole lot more that's much more interesting. Like right now, I know you like bruschettas. I know you like to take care of your skin. You definitely have the creative aspect of yourself of drawing and painting and whatnot. You love to be an investigator. You like to innovate. Because I don't know too many girls that dye their hair red. I know they do, but it's a very bold color. So it shows that you're very bold. Um, and from the conversation, see, I've been figuring it out. Like, but yeah, just I know there's a whole lot more. But I think
Like I was even talking to Chris about like the observations you made, and he even said it was spot on. Like it's kind of scary how spot on you were with everyone, especially in the little time frame you've known us for.
yeah, I think that's my superpower. I remember I was in a similar scenario when I met my friend from church, and I was just going. Well, my whole background with church is a little complicated, but to simplify it, I do believe in the idea of God, but
You did?
I do,
Oh, do.
and but my theory on it and my own personal experience is pretty interesting. But when I was starting to get into this church and I met this guy and he was a pretty cool dude, and we became good friends. When I was in the social groups trying to analyze people and whatnot, and I made a pretty accurate observation. It's like, bro, you got it pretty spot on. What the hell? How'd you do that? And I was like, that was the first time I realized the life experience I've gathered helped me be able to make those really precise and objective judgments
Hmm.
by observing the nuances of
I
relationships.
feel like you're those type of people that can guess someone's zodiac sign spot on, except their characteristics.
But you know what's funny? I don't know anything about zodiac signs. I don't know any of that stuff. I'm being straight up. Like, I only use that as an icebreaker, and the only thing I remember is that my sign's Leo, and and everyone hates on what's that one sign?
Geminis.
No. The one that kind of sounds like a snake. I don't know what's it called.
Sagittarius.
No. Everyone shits on this sign. Let me try to.
Scorpio.
Scorpio. It's the only thing I remember, to be honest. And whoever like digs it, I'm like, all right, yeah, cool, all right. And I just let them tell me about it so I can remember and refresh, because I think it's a fun little thing. But I know there is also that whole chart, and like you gotta know your birth and all that.
Yes. So. Ask you for your birth chart.
So I really don't know. I think I think maybe I'm just a little bit of a skeptic, but at the same time, I think it is fascinating. I mean, I ain't gonna lie. Sometimes when you don't know something, and I don't, it brings out the curiosity in me. So, you all about that stuff?
Yes. Well, I used to, but as of lately, I haven't been really into it as much. But I still do make observations on people based on their sign and see like what's clicking and what's not.
I got it. In my personal experience, I don't really go by the signs. I just go by the collective experience I've gotten in from my real world life experience and collecting like characteristics and behaviors and social groups and cultural backgrounds, and just try to like connect and pinpoint the dots.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah, that's how I've done it. But your way is probably just as fascinating.
No, like it's like kind of scary sometimes, because once you look at the whole birth chart and you get in like a basic idea of what each sign like basically is and what their characteristics are, and then you apply it to that person, like you start to like notice a lot of things. It's kind of scary at times.
Yeah, it's only scary when you don't know the person well and you don't know their intention in your relationship with them, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you know who they are and they are looking out for your best interests and being good-hearted with you, then you're like, no, that's just whatever. I'll acknowledge it. Like, yeah, that's their flaws, but I can accept that. You there?
Are you gonna hop on live tonight?
It's 11:45. I'm not sleepy. If by 12, if I see you're on, I'll stay on for like 30 minutes or 45.
I mean, I'll hop on. Did I take a nap today? Oh shit. I didn't take a nap, but I'm not tired, so.
In the meantime, we'll
I
just.
promised myself. Huh?
In the meantime, I guess we'll just patiently wait and see if they're on.
I think they are because they text in a group chat to join.
Oh yeah? Then let me see too. I'm curious.
Oh, Zae Zilla's on. I don't think he's on our lives though.
Yeah, I don't, he's finding. He's doing his own thing. I know what he's doing, but yeah, he's on his own journey on Yubo. Oh yeah, they're on. So let's hop on there, and the only thing, we'll keep our discussion private, and
Yeah, of course.
I'll respect it, because I'm
Thank you.
I'm a man of my word. So I'll definitely edit that part that I think you really need, and those creative ideas, those were fucking fire.
I know.
We were like on the higher wavelength, like where ideas were spitting.
I know.
I'm looking
Great
to.
minds think alike.
Yeah, I know. We just have that good balance. You know what I'm saying? So we'll definitely hop on another call and keep it chill. But I think for this one, I think this was a great conversation to just help you with what you got to do and get to know you more.
Thank you again. It was really helpful and insightful.
Yeah, so let's go enjoy and hang out with everyone else.
Okay.
Okay, I'll see you on there.
Mhm.
All right.